For some reason, on TikTok, a bunch of leftist teachers thought they'd make their little TikTok videos on how they're essentially corrupting the youth. And these tend to go quite viral because of the accounts, libs of TikTok on Twitter and Instagram and various other places, but you should follow them for the best cringe that comes out of TikTok. And it's all about them. That's genuinely the way they're framing it. This is not about, like, you know, it's not good for the children or anything like that. It's not good for their education. No, it's about their own egos. And you can see this very, very clearly just through the videos. Let's go for the first one.
I'm about to come out to all my students.
So I have a quick announcement for everybody. Can everybody look up from their phones? My class is important, please. Hello, I'm waiting. You guys look at me.
Me.
So I usually go by Mr. Johnson, but I would like to be called Zoa now. My name is Zoa, and I'm non-binary. So you can call me Mr. Zoa. You can call me Miss Zoa. You can call me Mix Zoa. That's MX period. And I go by all pronouns. That's it. Thank you.
Brave.
Sorry, did you say it goes by all pronouns? Yes.
Thanks, guys. That's it. Oh, thank you. If anybody has any questions, you can ask me at the end of class.
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine thinking that the students are like your fans or something, and being like, guys, I have a special announcement about me. You know, I know this is about your education, but it's also about me. Again, the next one.
I can't imagine the students there, because you heard some clapping. I bet there are some students who are just like, are you serious?
Oh, yeah.
But there are some morons in the back who are like, stunning and brave.
Absolutely. And these are the people who are indoctrinating your children. Next one.
So I just finished the first day back to school, high school English teacher, right? This is my intro activity where the kids like go around and snoop around my room and like write down observations and then come up with a teacher bio, like making assumptions about me and stuff. And then I ask for these and confirm or deny their suspicion. And so this one kid was like not so sure about saying his, but I was like, no, like it's fine. I give you full permission to like judge me and make assumptions. Obviously, it's the only time I'll do that. And he was like, well, are you lesbian? And I was like, wait, what gave it away? What gave it away?
You shouldn't have any of that in the classroom, you freak. Like a racial pride flag in the classroom. I'm sorry. That is not normal.
But also a massively narcissistic teacher who, again, is not in any way talking about the education of the students. They're saying, well, it's all about me. I'm to investigate me. I'm the center of everything.
Yeah. And you can see it in the, what do they bring to the classroom that she was showing? I mean, the racial pride flag being there in a classroom.
Yeah.
I assume state funded.
Of course.
If it's privately funded and the private organization is run by people like that, go ahead. But if it's state funded, absolutely not.
Yeah. Let's go for the next one.
Okay, guys, I can't. This is too funny. So I'm at work, and those of you who don't know me, I use they, them pronouns, and I'm a preschool teacher. So instead of using Mr. or Miss, we use mix. So the kids have been really awesome doing that. I work with 3- and 4-year-olds. One of my kiddos came up to me and he goes, "Are you mixed up? Are you mixed up?"
Kids can tell.
I was like, "No, sweetie, I'm not mixed up. I just use mix instead of Mr. or Mrs." And he's like, "Okay, I was worried."
Yeah, the kids can see through it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've told you this story before, and there was a kid who went up to a bus driver that I saw, and the bus driver was fat. It was a fat woman, and the kid went, "Oh, she's really fat." Like she was obsessed with fat people at that period of her life for some reason, and no filter whatsoever.
No.
And exactly the same thing there.
Yeah, when they're about 4 or 5, they will literally say these things. It's just on the front of their mind, and it happens all the time. My kids do it, or have done it. Where it's just like, "Oh, Daddy, look how fat that person is." I'm like, "Okay, thanks, son." Yeah, they're pretty big. You're right. You can give them some dieting tips if they want. Let's go to the next one.
Today, my student pulled me aside to ask me if I was trans.
I said yes, and almost immediately they said, "So when I grow up, I can actually be a boy?" And honestly, I'm just proud they could say it out loud, because that really takes a lot.
Obviously. You can't become the opposite sex.
No. Next one.
Guys, I messed up. So I had a kid on Monday. They said their pronouns were she, her. Then on Wednesday, yesterday, they came to me and they said, "You know what? My pronouns are they, them. I want you in the class to use they, them." Okay, cool, great. They come to class today. There's names on desks in groups for assigned seats. They can't find theirs because I guess my first class knocked it off. So I go to the class. Hey, is she in anyone's group? Does anyone see her name? It took me 5 minutes to realize what I did. So what I did when they were sitting by themselves, I approached them and said, I screwed up, didn't I? And they said, yep. And I said, I am so sorry. That is completely 100% my fault. I apologize. I will not get it wrong moving forward. Please know I heard you when you told me your pronouns, and I will get it right. That was totally my bad. I apologize. So that's what you do. You own it. You apologize. They were happy that I came over to them. They were disappointed in me. I just saw the look of disappointment, and I was just like so disappointed in myself.
Look how embarrassingly performative that is.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
Obviously not
sincerity there. There's no authenticity there. No one cares. The kids wouldn't care if you didn't put this nonsense in their heads. And it's all a massive LARP. It's a giant LARP.
What's happened to American schooling? I mean, are there any American schools left?
Oh, yeah, there are bound to be loads of, Catholic ones and conservative ones that are completely normal. These are just going to be ones from California.
I love how they've become the normal ones now.
Well, they have.
Well, they used to be the joke, 20 years ago. I'd be like,
They did.
They're teaching extremist stuff to your kids.
Not now. Not now. Let's go to the next one.
I need to go home. Instead, I'm sitting at my desk crying because we just got word from our superintendent that masks will not be required in our school district this year because the school has to respect the choice of parents that don't want to have their kids in a mask. And that's just the most bullshit reasoning, and I'm so over it because there is no such thing as a personal choice in a pandemic because I have no choice now to send my child to school in a way that will be safe for them because my child's mask will do a great job of protecting the other kids around her, but I have no choice not to have my kid coughed on by her classmates. I am so tired of this I'll do what works for me, you do what works for you take on a public health crisis. And we are never going to get out of this if we cannot start collectively thinking about how our actions impact the people around us.
Now we need to start collectively thinking and abolishing consent.
The North Koreans
Very
call it
progressive.
monolithic thought.
Do they?
Yeah,
that's
the phrase
a good term.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what she's arguing for. But I just love the fact she's like, yeah, consent. I've got a real problem with that.
But also just the scientific ignorance at the level of talking about kids and masks. It's depressing to see.
Oh yeah, but we'll continue on with the mask mandates. Let's go on.
Conservatives are so obsessed with ensuring that Black and brown people stay disenfranchised that they are willing to completely destroy America's public education system.
That's
In
right.
conservative states, it is currently illegal to mandate masks in schools during a global pandemic. This means that when white kids get sick and die from COVID, it'll be easy to convince people that we should stop funding those damn public schools and start funneling money into private ones.
Big brain take.
Whitey's trying to kill their own kid
in order to defund public schools.
To hurt the brown man.
It's some extreme 5D chess going on.
Yeah, the white people are all going to kill their own kids to try and F over the brown people.
I don't know why they don't just say we're going to defund these schools anyway.
I love the idea that you've got these white parents after they're standing on a corpse of dead white toddlers and they're like, yeah, gotcha.
But again, these are all teachers. All of these people are teachers and they are teaching children every day to this point. Let's go for the next one. Let's talk about politicizing the classroom. Why not?
I teach in Kentucky, and I am very grateful for my district and my school. And I'm not the only one who has flags up either. This is another classroom. Another one.
Imagine being taught by these lunatics.
Another one.
Black Lives Matter, racial pride, blah, blah, blah.
One more. And then we got my room, of course. And my cute little flower one. And this is the best one yet. And it turned out
This is
really
what schooling
nice.
is, isn't it? Yeah, the teachers. This is them as an ability to engage in social activism, nothing else.
Yeah,
it's not about educating kids.
To indoctrinate their the children that are put into their care into their new civic religion of race, gender, and sexuality.
Yeah. If you came in with a bunch of crosses and started putting them up like that, what would happen?
Outrage.
Yeah.
Massive amounts of outrage.
Rightfully.
Let's go for the next one.
I'm gonna say it. I don't care what y'all think. Trump sucks. What's wrong with Trump? He's a sexual predator. He's a literal moron. Go tattle on me to the freaking admin. They don't give a crap. No, he is not. What are you talking about? Turn off the Fox News. Do your parents listen to Fox News? So
Yeah, so this clip went viral. This was a teacher in
I'm
Utah.
pretty sure the kids called Joe Biden a pedo.
I couldn't hear it very well, so I mean...
And she went, no, he's not.
Wow. Yeah, we so just in case Joe Biden's lawyers are watching this, we're saying alleged paedophile.
Hey, the student said it, so.
Yeah. But yeah, this woman, when she was like, yeah, go tell the admin, they don't care. Well, it turns out they do care because the clip went viral and everyone's like, wait, why is she just berating Donald Trump in her classroom? What's that got to do with the curriculum? And the answer is, of course, nothing. Yeah, so she got fired. We at Alpine School District have concluded our investigation of the incident at Lay High School. Though the details of the personnel investigation are confidential, the teacher is no longer an employee of the Alpine School District. So this behavior is inappropriate, not reflective of the professional conduct and decorum we expect of our teachers and will not be tolerated. Good. People like that should be fired.
But I mean, looking at the rest of that, that's not the end of it. That's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, that's just the clip that went viral. You know that this is going to have been all day, every day, because she's going to be on Twitter angrily tweeting about Trump every time.
I have to wonder in my head just how long until they start teaching math classes being like, well, you got 2 Republican bastards and I kill one of them. How many are left? For example, I mean, the North Korean regime, for example, that's what they do in math class. They'll say that there are 5 Yankee bastards and then, we kill 3 of them. How many are left?
Wow.
So.
Only 2. Let's go.
Oh, my name's Josh. I use they, them pronouns in English, and Espanol, and I got a lot of questions like this. So how do I bring this up to my teacher? How do you talk to colleagues about it? How do people respond to you? So where I work, everybody was really receptive. They wanted to learn more about it. It's been a slow process, but they're learning more and they're integrating it. And this is across languages. So I feel super lucky. However, I know that's not the case for a lot of people. All I can say is that try to talk to your teacher about it and explain to them that this is what non-binary people are doing in the language and that by not including language like this in the classroom, it's making people who are non-binary or maybe are non-binary and they don't know feel unsafe and that it's actually transphobic and that they're excluding people's identity in the classroom and making them not feel safe when using that language. So that's all I can say. It's really difficult if people are resistant to it, but we got to keep fighting.
Aren't you glad these are teaching children?
I'm just thinking about how much the West is just rotting from the end within.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
it'll just be on college campuses, folks. Well, then they get teaching degrees and go and teach the kids.
Yeah, and now it's going to be generations upon generations of
just in the
leftists.
primary schools.
Yep.
Well, preschools. I mean, at what point are you worried?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. At what point you're like, hang on, do I really want these people brainwashing my children? You know? I mean, they're literally subverting the language. He was literally describing...
From the age of 3 and up.
From the age of 3 and up, how to subvert the language of children. And if there's one thing you don't want to do is subvert children's understanding of the terms that they're using. That's a horrible thing to do. But anyway, let's go for the next one.
Story time. This has been my first year in preschool with a class of my own, teaching alongside another queer neurodivergent educator, and we have been rocking our twos class. We've been talking about gender and skin color and consent and empathy and our bodies and autonomy. It's been fabulous. But our teaching team is shifting and a new person is being onboarded, someone with many years of experience. So today at the lunch table, when the topic of gender and genitals came up, one of our students plainly looked up and said, well, I'm a girl today, but I know that teacher Co isn't. No, they're NB. And the look on the incoming teacher's face was priceless. She was shocked in a good way, and she just looked around at the two of us and said, this class is incredible, and I am so impressed.
again, how embarrassingly performative and how obviously untrue that story is. But why are you talking about genitals with your preschool children? The reason is, because she's a bit sus, it seems, although for some reason my notes have disappeared, so I can't go on. We can do. Right, so so this is something else that this teacher had tweeted. She tweeted, "Legal peeps, what kind of waiver release would I need to create a safe space to talk to youth about kink away from their parents? # sext."
Sex ed.
Sex ed, sorry, yeah.
Sexual education is going to be talking to her children,
children
students, about kink.
Preteen, yeah, about kink. That's what she wants. And of course, then she also posted something on her Instagram. We can go to the next one. She says this: "Working at a preschool has provided me with a ton of formal early childhood education, which is in direct benefit to the families I work with, and opening up appropriate intergenerational dialogues around relational identities such as polyamory, sexuality, gender identity, sex positivity, and kink. They are coming for your children. They are going to indoctrinate your children into kink, polyamory, and all of this other stuff. Sex positivity.
Benefit for the families I work with.
In a preschool. This is what she is doing, and she's excited about it."
See the one there, hashtag sexual education, hashtag sex ed. I can really see why a lot of people point to the guy who first set up sex ed, the communist in Hungary, who first introduced it. And from his ideology, he said, we will introduce this to socialists because it will undermine the family unit. And why a lot of conservatives always point to sex ed and being like, this is haram.
Yes.
Because it is from a communist to try and undermine the family unit. And it leads to stuff like this.
Well, I just don't see why preschoolers need to learn about polyamory and kink.
What are your kinks,
or
9-year-old?
Sexuality.
What is wrong with you, nonce?
It's not like 4 years old. Let's talk about the 4-year-old's kinks and sexuality, shall we? Let's get sex positive with 4-year-olds, shall we? I don't think so.
Talk about your criminal record.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, it's total obvious nonsense, right? And so let's go on to the next one. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. She was also apparently fired from this. That school that she worked for got a lot of calls, and they say, I had someone call, and before he'd even finished a sentence, the woman who answered said she doesn't work anymore. That was she never taught that curriculum. Was unaware of when the teacher stopped working there because apparently they got many calls that day. So it was just like, no, she's not here. She's not here. She's not here. Yeah, good. Probably for the best.
Upset they didn't act sooner, but that is good from the administration to do the right thing. And
Yeah.
like, we'd get rid of the nonce.
Yes. So thankfully, at least when you complain to the schools, these noncy, radical left-wing lunatics who are trying to brainwash your children do get fired. So if you have a teacher at your local school who is teaching noncery to your children, complain. Go and complain and get the other parents to complain. Tell the other parents in that classroom.
Any of this, really. I mean, the racial pride flag of BLM being in the classroom.
Absolutely. Any kind of politicization. And I suppose we'll just finish this segment on this person who is definitely not a nonce.
I was a camp counselor for 1 week and turned an entire cabin of 13-year-olds into leftists. Here's how. It started on day one when the kids of their own volition decided to have an election to see who would be president of the cabin. They had me track votes anonymously, and I may have broken the tie in favor of the obviously queer kid. Another kid who was weirdly obsessed with Russian history then asked if he could be Mikhail Gorbachev to the cabin, to which I said, I don't think so. You could be Karl Marx, though. He was thrilled. The kids then, somewhat clumsily, started discussing the merits of their communist government. It probably would have ended there, but on day 2, the president told me that he had trouble sleeping the night before and asked me if I had anything to read. I had exactly one book with me, The ABCs of Socialism. This kid read the entire book in one night. The next day, another kid asked for it, and then another. By day 4, Karl Marx proposed that our cabin cheer be the communist cabin, where everyone is equal, and everyone agreed.
Don't let these people near your kids. Just do not let these people near your kids. For not only their emotional safety and mental health, but also their physical health, frankly. Does that guy look like he doesn't have anything suspicious on his computer?
He's got ABCs of socialism, I mean, that's one.
Bad enough, isn't it? Can't stand it. Can't stand it. It's just like, and they're so proud of the...
Yeah, I can't get over that they're just like, I need to talk about kink with kids.
Nothing bad will happen if I tell the world that I'm indoctrinating and perverting their children.
They
No one's going to
They think that's socially acceptable.
Yeah, they think that's positive. They think it's a moral good to pervert your children.
Like I knew
Don't-
American education is an international joke at this point, but I didn't know it was that bad.
It's mad, isn't it?
Thank you for watching this clip from the podcast The Lotus Eaters. If you want more from us, please go over to lotuseaters.com and subscribe to get access to all the premium content that we have on the site.
Yeah, we've got loads of really good stuff there. So we've been doing this for quite some time. So we've got a huge library of content in various different categories. Now, some of my favorites have been the book clubs. I'm personally a big fan of these because it means we get to read good books and important books, extract the useful information out of them, such as with this Roger Scruton's Where We Are, which is a very interesting conservative take on the current culture wars and the state of Britain at the moment. So we go through and explore the meaningful concepts. And here's one that you and Bo did with Frank Dicotta's Mao's Great Famine. It's absolutely brilliant and harrowing to read. And so when all the comments on this were happened to be, well, this was vile, we knew we'd done a good job with it. And we also have many other premium series like the Contemplations, where Hugo and Josh just go through and find something very interesting to talk about, such as this one talks about the idea of political representation and does it work, or is it a bit of a myth? And of course, we have the history content, which probably my personal favourite. In this particular one, myself and Bo talked about the achievements of Frankish warlord Charles Martel. Do you know what he's famous for, Callum?
Stopping the Muslims at Tours.
That's right. And we also do a bunch of premium videos, and interviews and things like this. So in this one, we happen to have an interview with Michael Malice, who's a very, very charming guest, and I very much enjoyed this one. And we also do a bunch of premium podcasts about stuff that perhaps isn't appropriate for YouTube or various other platforms like that because of, some things outside of their editorial bounds.
So if you'd like to get access to all that premium content, please go over to lotuseaters.com and subscribe for as low as £5 a month. Thank you.